Welcome to the Insurance Brokers Podcast with your host, Sarah Myerscough. This business podcast is for ambitious brokers determined to grow their business. Our guests are highly experienced industry experts and innovators. This is the place to leverage their success, learn how to break through barriers to growth, and discover a community of support and ideas whilst growing your business.
Good afternoon, Warren. Thank you very much for joining me this afternoon on the Insurance Brokers Podcast. It's been a long time coming, hasn't it?
Yeah, my pleasure, Sarah. Yeah, it has been, but we got there in the end.
We have indeed. So what might be a great starting point is if you tell me and everybody else who Warren is and how you come to be here.
Okay, my name is Warren Bainbridge. I've been in the insurance industry since started work when I was 15 in the insurance industry for Swinton Insurance for a couple of weeks until I turned 16. So straight from school. Worked in high street broking for about 9 years. Then joined, which was Provincial at the time, in 1993. They were taken over by AXA. So I was at AXA for 18 years. So that was the bulk of my insurance career, going through various different roles. Since then, I've worked for a few other different insurance companies, Chubb, NIG, for a couple of years. And the last business I worked for was British Engineering Services. So that was a slightly different tact, but still in the insurance industry. And in November, I joined Kingsbridge as the head of Wholesale and Distribution.
You've got some really exciting things going on, I know, in Kingsbridge.
Yes.
So I'm really looking forward to hearing more about that. Okay, so Warren, you've just joined Kingsbridge. You've got a long career in the insurance industry from loads of different perspectives. And I think what we kind of talked about before that we thought might be an interesting conversation is around the distribution chain, I suppose, from reinsurance all the way through to consumer, and how that has changed over the years with technology, with the sort of invent of different, I suppose, technology and mindset.
Yeah, I mean, certainly the industry has changed significantly over the last 5 to 10 years. Everybody's looking to be more efficient. Everybody's looking to do more business by e-trade. With the advent of people like Actress, who appear to be, taking over a bulk of the market, they want to drive a lot of that activity, down that route, so they can concentrate their staff or their people focusing on the more complex and bigger income business. So there's been a lot of drive for e-trade, but there's only so much, insurance business you can e-trade. There's complexity that needs human intervention. So you'll always have the need for that, and those insurers that have maintained that open for business, here to help sort of attitude have prospered. Those that have made life difficult have not, and certainly we've seen some change over the last few years. During COVID, where capacity has been reduced, pulled. Insurers are looking to sort of reduce lines or pull capacity. But having said that, there's still lots of capacity out there in the market with nimble insurers and MGAs who are perhaps taking advantage of that change in the market.
I'm interested that you used the word efficiencies, because is there a space for efficiencies even in those complex cases, and what sort of changes are you seeing?
I think there's still room for efficiency in that space, because if you've got a team that are easily accessible, you make things simple or easy. Even in the complex space, brokers will definitely gravitate to that. The path of least resistance is a term often used in insurance, and if an insurer or an MGA makes things simple or easy to do business with, then brokers will naturally gravitate to that.
I was having a really interesting conversation a few weeks ago about risk presentation and sometimes the tensions between what is provided by the broker and what is expected by the insurer. And to me, it kind of came down to a communication issue more than, fault on one or the other side. What sort of things have you seen, and what sort of efficiencies and conversations and path of least resistance do you see in those areas?
I think those insurers that make it clear up front, what their appetite is and what they're looking for in a presentation. So you're not sending things to insurers that they've no appetite for. That just wastes everybody's time. So I think those insurers that are clear on what their appetite is and what they're looking for in a presentation, those are the insurers that will prosper, because brokers will know exactly what to send to them. So that's what the good insurers are looking for, and they will do business on the back of it.
Absolutely. And I think that there's a part to play, not just in terms of the insurers being very clear about what their appetite is, but also on the part, and most brokers are very good at this, in really understanding the client and presenting a really fully sort of thought out risk, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, those that put a lot of work into the presentations that get submitted to insurers, generally the brokers that get put to the top of the queue. And I know we might not pretend there is queues within insurers, but those are brokers that do that will definitely differentiate themselves from a broker who just sends in a one pager with the briefest level of information. So those that put a bit of work into it, although it will seem like a bit of work up front, will definitely get more out of it at the back end.
Absolutely. In terms of related but specialisms, okay, so it's much easier to focus, I suppose, when you've got a very focused niche or specialism. And I know Ecclesiastical have done a lot of work on specialism versus generalist, pros and cons of both. You guys are going into your particular focus at Kingsbridge is quite specialist. What sort of changes are you seeing in the market in that respect?
Yeah, I guess it's a very busy market, Sarah. And a lot of brokers and a lot of insurers are looking for the same thing. Looking for that vanilla business, which makes that market very competitive and very busy, both for insurers and brokers. I think, but those insurers that have got specialism, or those brokers that have got specialisms, that can win the day, because I think you can demonstrate more expertise if you've got a specialism, and therefore it reduces the competition. Because there's less expertise out there in particular niches, and ultimately I think you get more rate sustainability, more profitability out of those specialisms, because you can be the expert in that space. And instead of being 100 competitors in that market, there might only be 5 or 10, which obviously makes things a bit more palatable when you're trying to win business.
Absolutely. What about you guys? What's your tact, as far as you can share, in terms of the way Kingsbridge are going? Because you're doing some quite interesting things.
Yeah, I mean, I guess going back to one of the reasons why I chose Kingsbridge, Sarah. Really, I've worked for some fantastic, global organisations, AXA, Chubb, people like that, who, there's a lot of advantages to working for that business, but for those businesses. But why I chose Kingsbridge is, they're a lot smaller organisation, more agile, able to sort of get things done a lot more quickly, because, some of the advantages that you get with working for a global organisation, you sort of get dragged down with some of the bureaucracy and the red tape to get things done. So Kingsbridge, proud to be a top 50 independent broker, backed by a business in the US called NSM. They're fully committed to investing and growing the business. So we secured, investment over the next 2 or 3 years to sort of grow significantly. And we've got, a couple of specialisms in particular, one on recruitment insurance and one on contractors insurance, where we have a delegated authority to write that business with the insurer that we partner with. And that allows us, again, to play to that sort of service and capacity point, to be a bit more nimble. We've got a lot more sort of autonomy within our own gift. We've got the team, we've got the product, and wholesale. We're looking to wholesale some of those solutions as well. So, wholesale shouldn't be a dirty word. All it's doing is providing another solution, another avenue for a broker to go to if they're not getting that support from the traditional market. and that's what we're looking to push over the next few years. We're looking to grow our specialisms, but we're also looking to change distribution as well, and looking to wholesale some of that as well to some chosen broker partners. So that's my role in life. That's why I've been brought into the business. So I'm well on with speaking to a lot of my contacts in the market to try and make some of that happen.
Really exciting. 2022 is going to be a full-on year for you, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we've also got a quote and buy tool coming on our products as well. So brokers and direct customers will be able to access that through our website. So we're hoping that will be ready in Q1. So yeah, it's really exciting. We're looking to hopefully get a presence in the Midlands in Q1 as well. So that's being backed by the parent NSM. So that was one of the reasons why I joined. It felt like there was an ability to get things done quickly. The business was being invested in. It was growing with a couple of key specialisms, and we're looking to make things easier for brokers to do business with us as well with the advent of the quote and buy tool.
What's your so far? So you've been in the role about a month?
About a month, yeah, early days.
Are you seeing sort of a change in mindset from what you've previously been used to? So it's, for me, I've never worked in a huge corporate, but I have worked with big corporates, and it is a completely different ballgame in terms of the speed, the thought process. And you keep mentioning the word nimble. Nimbility is a word that I think the Insurance Brokers podcast owns, because we made it up on here and it comes up regularly in conversation. So do you see a distinct difference in those mindsets?
Absolutely. Where I've worked on projects, in larger businesses where it takes about 4 or 5 business cases to get things signed off. I mean, just a comparison to our investment to getting the quote and buy tool for our specialisms. I mean, that was decided, with a couple of conversations, a bit of rationale within a week, and we're on with that, and we're hoping that will be ready in Q1. I mean, that is sort of unheard of, in the insurance industry, generally speaking. So that's the exciting thing. It's a very flat structure. You're able to sort of bring some ideas to the executive, and if the exec think it's a good idea and there's some good rationale behind it, we'll do it.
Fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. So 2022 is looking a busy year for you. I know Kingsbridge have got some quite significant growth aspirations. I know you're looking at particular specialisms, and I think it's interesting that you are developing sort of marketing strategies, I think, for want of a better word, around different distribution methods. You've mentioned quote and buy, you've mentioned wholesale. So there's a whole world of stuff going on there. What do you think the wider market looks like generally over the next 3 to 5 years with all of these changes in technology, efficiencies, mindsets, etc.?
I think there's a few things really there. I think those will deliver excellent e-trade solutions that will win the day, and that is just making sure that they're easy to use, they're point of sale documentation, ideally talking to the brokers' back offices. Those that do that really well with excellent products will win the day. However, obviously we're not out of COVID yet, are we? So I still think there's going to be some changes in the market. There's still going to be pressure on property, D&O, P&I, PI. I think there's still insurers looking to withdraw capacity in some of those classes. So I think it's those that show a consistent approach without sort of going too up and down, making life volatile, either pulling out, going back in. I think those that can demonstrate some sort of consistency, in that space will definitely be successful in the next 3 to 5 years. I think those insurers that are going in and out or up and down will suffer. So I think that I guess hopefully that's a message to the market that even if that there's some rectification needed on certain classes, it's more of a considered approach rather than using the term, throwing the baby out with the bathwater a lot of the time, which is generally what happens. So consistency, an attitude that's open for business, a team that's easily accessible, those type of insurers will win the day.
I had quite an interesting conversation with somebody recently about reserving in the reinsurance market and the difficulties with that, given COVID, given a lot of the sort of natural disasters events, having a knock-on effect down into capacity availability, product lines, etc. So some of that consistency is not really controllable, I suppose, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
What predictions have you got around that?
Yeah, I'll just get my crystal ball out, Sarah.
Thank you.
No, I think you're right, but I think those that can navigate the way through it with sensible sort of conversations and sensible actions, even taking into account some of that volatility that you can't control. I still think there's a place for insurers that can still deliver some consistent and palatable messages, even if they're difficult ones. And I think those that do and are clear with their communication and their strategy, I think brokers and clients will naturally gravitate to those, because although there is a lot of unknown in the market, hopefully insurers can deliver some sort of consistent strategy through all of that.
I think we're going to get the introduction in a significant way of some of the Google. I know Amazon are playing in this field already. I suspect Google are as well. Do you think that's likely to come and sort of pivot the direction any more in the next 5 years?
I mean, those organizations, can probably do, what they want, really. I think, they're definitely going to have a part to play over the next, 5-10 years, because of the qualities of the organization. So, yeah, I'm sure, they will play a part just because of who they are, and because of their brand, and people will, whether it's a direct consumer play more than a broker play, but people will gravitate to it because of what the brand stands for. And
also because they tell you what you want before you even know what you want.
Well, that's been the power of what those organisations have done, isn't it, over the last so many years, and that's why they've been so successful. But yeah, they'll definitely be, they'll definitely have a part to play, I'm sure.
Absolutely. So, Warren, the $1 million question for us to end on: can you tell me what advice you would have for people listening? Let me qualify that. A lot of the people that listen to the Insurance Brokers podcast are either sales execs or director level people within the insurance market. Okay. And they are from all different fields, from marketing, from sales, from operations, etc. Yeah. So given the volatility of the world and how that impacts our market, what key areas will you be concentrating on, and what would you say to others? This is within your control. This is what you look to do to grow your business in the next 5 years.
I would say a few things, really. I would say pick your markets carefully and make sure that they are going to be there for the long term. Don't tolerate bad service, because there's other solutions out there that will give you better service and make your running of your broking operation a lot more efficient. Don't stand for second best, even if it's with, a global insurer or a huge insurer. If you're getting second best, then there's others that can deliver better for you elsewhere.
And maybe the final one: if you're looking to play in the recruitment sector, come and speak to Kingsbridge.
Well, we've got the team, we've got the product. It's backed by Zurich. We have a fantastic relationship with them. We would provide a fantastic solution for you, for sure. Yeah.
Fabulous. I think that's a fabulous note to end on. Warren, if you're happy, I'll put your details in the show notes. Anybody that wants to pick up the phone and have a conversation with you about what your wholesale offering looks like, then if you're happy, I'll do that. And if anybody's got any questions that come out of this podcast, welcome to contact me or Warren. And if you've got any questions that you want us to do a further podcast on, please let me know. Thank you very much for your time, Warren. I really enjoyed that.
Thank you, Sarah.